What is up, YouTube? Jazz Trades here, coming at you with another YouTube video. Okay, let's get into it. Um, as you guys know, a little recap. I will be taking a week off because of the crazy price action that has been happening. As you can see, this is on the 4 hourly. And I was pretty much right, guys. I told you guys, as long as we stay above the 0.618, even the 0.786, it'd be really hard to get down there, but I can actually see a scenario where that might end up happening, especially because of what's been happening in the last 2 months. Not even, 2 months and this happens, which is pretty crazy. Like I said, about $1,000 drop in some of my last videos. But you can see here, I predicted that it's going to probably bounce around the 0.618, around the 0.618, and come back up into the 0.5 range. Might even go a little bit lower. But if we go lower than this or lower than this, these are like crazy danger zones. This is actually the bottom of the 2023 bear market, which lasted an entire. Well, actually, no, it's not true. I was speaking too soon. That's my fault. The bottom of the bear market's actually right here at 35.01 back in 2022. It's been a while, guys. I'm sorry. And if we draw a line there, I'm sure we would get some accurate readings here. Oh my God. Guys, I can't say it this enough. Fib retracements is where it's at. Okay, guys? Sorry, I'm still a little sick from everything last couple of weeks, but it's getting better, right? That's actually crazy. If we draw a fib from the bottom of the bear market, the actual bear market, forget my last videos. Holy shit, it's my fault. I wanted to draw a fib from the bottom of the bear market back in 2022 into 2023 and draw it to the top of where we're at today. And as you guys can see, we hit the 0.5 perfectly at 4834.25. Okay, hold on. I got to drink some water really quick. Oh, that's better. Sorry about that, guys. Holy crap. It can't get much better than that. 4834.25. Where did it actually hit? Let's do an exact measurement here. Did it really hit it exactly? Like to a T? Unbelievable. That's pretty freaking crazy. Let's go to the 15-minute. Wow, look how close. Look how accurate this fib is, huh, guys? That's pretty darn crazy. I don't know about you, but I'd start using fibs more, especially when there's a huge crash. Okay? I mean, look at this. It's perfect. Sorry, that is perfect. Wow, I can't get over that. This is why we do TA, guys. This is exactly why we do TAs. Perfect. Okay? So correction. If we go down lower, even down to 45.20, which would be pretty darn low, we're still in a bull market, in my opinion. But as soon as we get down to 4,072, right, or down here, then yeah, I would say we're in a bear market for a good long time. But if history repeats itself, it's like 3 years of upwards action and then a full year downwards, right? And we've been in this bull market since 2023, March 2023, and we're about 2 years, almost 3 years into it. Like I said, I think the next crash, the real crash, is going to be sometime in 2026. Maybe not March, because history doesn't actually repeat itself. It just rhymes. Okay? You'll hear me say that a lot on this channel. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. Okay, so if we look at the long-term TA here, bear market, we draw a fib from the bottom to the top. For those of you who are just um, skipping ahead, I will go over this again. Bottom to top, hit the 0.5 fib during this massive crash. Um, that's pretty exciting. Okay. If we were to look at any other indicators, like the RSI on the daily chart, okay, we're looking at, it hasn't been this low since 2020. Okay. And that was during the COVID crash. So as soon as the RSI gets down to 18, which might, guys, you got to prepare yourselves. It might actually bring this down to 45.20, the 0.618. Okay, 45.20. I do believe that the end of this crash is going to be at 45.20. Oftentimes, during massive crashes like this one, it's very short-lived. Okay, it's a massive crash followed by a year-long bull run, right? Or in this case, it was 2 years, but we've already been in a bull run for 3, so excluding the COVID crisis, um, we're going to go into a bull market for probably another year, which would bring us up to $7 or even $8,000 S&P 500. Okay, so that's the long-term chart. That's what I'm looking at on the S&P. Pretty freaking cool. Okay. Now, for the guys who are interested in Bitcoin, I'm going to get into that now. Okay. Let's get into it. All right, let's get rid of this for now. Let's get some RSI going here. But let's draw from the 2020 crash, which was right here, okay, to today. Or actually, let's just draw the bottom of the bear market, which is right here, just about. And I know it's not perfect, but I'll get it perfect. I'll show you guys how in a second. We'll just see where we're at. Okay? So right now, Bitcoin hasn't really fallen much. I could see Bitcoin actually going down to 62,000 here, or even 51,000, especially if the stock market goes down to, the 0.618. So what I'm doing for those of you who don't know, I'm drawing from the 2022 bear market and everything. Okay, the bottom of that bear market to the very top of today. Okay, the same rule applies here. We still are relatively high for BTC, and I think we could see lower price action down to 62 or even 51 before the banana zone of finance. That's what I call it. For those of you who want to learn about the banana zone of finance, just follow Raoul Paul. That guy's fucking awesome. He speaks facts, and his whole slogan is how to not how to unfuck your future. So I really love that guy. But yeah, this is what I'm drawing. I'm drawing the fib. This is what I trust from the bottom to the top. And right now, I'm not seeing anything crazy with Bitcoin. I know a lot of people are freaking out and thinking that this is the end of Bitcoin, but trust me, or I shouldn't say trust me, but guys, it's not the end of Bitcoin. It never will be. In fact, when it does have that crash, possibly all the way down to 51,000 here, it will turn around and the banana zone will kick in. It'll probably go a little bit higher, probably up to like 120 or 140K is what I'm thinking for BTC. Okay. But if I were to get into any swing trades here, I would honestly wait for the 0.5 or the 0.618. And if you're going to get into the 0.5 long, which many of you would if you guys are watching this video, I would get into that long very small, and I would have a $20,000 stop loss, or at least I would say 15,000, right? That would bring your stop loss down to what? 52,000, 51, 50, 49, 48, 47, 47,000. Okay, so down here, a lot lower than the 0.618 fib. So that's where I would put my stop. That way, when and if it does go to 140K, however much you guys are risking, whether it be 5,000 or 10,000, if it's $10,000 that you're risking, you'd probably be making 60 to 80 to $90,000 on that trade. Okay, just got to be smart. Got to look at opportunities in the market when they present themselves. But I don't see anything crazy with Bitcoin. I know everyone's freaking out about it, but that's just because Bitcoin has massive moves, or what feels like massive moves. But trust me, believe me when I tell you, this is not massive at all. Wait until it hits 62 or even 51. That's massive, and I've seen it every single time, guys. Every single time with Bitcoin, I've seen massive crashes before their huge bull runs. Huge bull runs. Okay. Um, so yeah, that's Bitcoin. The only other thing that I would like to go over today is the Dixie and what's going on with that. Okay. Again, nothing crazy with the Dixie. If we were to go from the 2022 bull run in the Dixie, which caused the massive. So, for those of you who don't know, from what you guys remember, if we go to Trading View, okay, we go to MES, okay, and we go to the 2022 bear market, okay, when everything was going down, including Bitcoin during 2022, okay, the Dixie was skyrocketing, okay, in 2022. So whenever the Dixie skyrockets, that's when everything crashes. And right now, I'm not seeing anything crazy in the Dixie. I'm not seeing any massive. I would think back in September of 2024 to January of 2025, things took a dip. Okay, September to January. So let's check that out. September to January. No. So that was awkward. What happened there. That was extremely awkward. Um, I haven't seen that in a long time. Usually when the Dixie goes up, everything goes down. But in this case, when the Dixie was going up, nothing crazy happened. That might be because there weren't any massive moves, but I'm telling you guys, like here, for example, if we were to go from March of 2020 to April of 2021, right? We'll go March, or let's see, March of 2020, this big crash, to April of 2021. Things went up like crazy, right? Especially because it went from 2160 to, this is April 2021. It went from 2,000 to $4,200. It went up 2,000 points in the time that the Dixie went from 103 to 88. Okay, so I actually see that in the future, I see this chart here kind of weighing off, and this is kind of like if we were to draw some formations here, I'm looking at this like it's a rising wedge from like a nice crash here. It's kind of like a bear flag, rising wedge, which is ultimately bearish, As soon as we break this structure, we're going to have a crazy bull market. But as you guys can see, we've been bouncing off this structure for a long time, since 2023, and right now it's 2025. So again, I don't see anything crazy happening with the markets. I think obviously Bitcoin will go back up, and I obviously think that the MES market, S&P 500, the Dow, anyone who's interested in the stock market, that shit's going to go back up, because the banana zone of finance is still coming in 2025. So don't lose hope yet. Don't freak out. You know, like Raul Paul says, don't don't unfuck, like, try to unfuck your future, right? So don't freak out. Don't fall into that fear, uncertainty, doubt, that FUD that many people do when they see stuff like this. Okay, expect that crash, that year-long crash in 2026 at some point. Okay, you guys keep it cool out there. Keep it slow. Keep it steady with these prop firms. I hope you guys kill it in the markets this week. I will be stepping away because of the craziness that's been happening. But yeah, hope you guys kill in the markets. Slow and steady jazz trades. Peace out.